Monster Jam Urban Assault was a game released back in 2008 by Taurus Games for the Wii, Nintendo DS, PSP, and PlayStation 2 to moderate success. But in recent years, it has seen an increase in participation from one particular group of people, speedrunners. Those who spend hours of their time to be the best at a certain game is the reason this game has been kept alive for all these years. But it's not all diamonds and pearls when it comes to the small racing game from the late 2000s. No, there is one track that is different from the others in more than one way. While this game has some amazing qualities, even the developers over at Taurus Games couldn't make the perfect game once they decided to put one track into the game. The track that has given the most suffering and caused the most nightmares to any player that dares to enter its doors. This is Shopping Precinct. And now, a word from...
Not yet.
Oh, we're not doing that right now? No. Alright. Monster Jam Urban Assault has 4 main racing modes that all vary immensely in how they're played. Race Circuit is kind of like time trials in Mario Kart, where the player has to complete 3 laps around a track, and these are usually about 1.5 minutes in length. Eliminator is basically a game of not getting last. If you are in last by the time all the other racers have finished, you are eliminated and won't be able to finish the race. Head-to-head is where 4 trucks are paired off and race against each other in opposite directions. This style can cause a lot of chaos, as you'll potentially crash into the other trucks multiple times throughout the race. Stadium racing is very similar to the actual racing events in Monster Jam in real life, where either a lap or a short section of dirt track is raced against another driver, and these on average are about 10 seconds long. The track we will be talking about today falls under Eliminator, by far the longest category of race in the game. Since you race 5 other people, 5 laps have to be driven to eliminate them all. While the Wii version has 6 racers in total, all 3 other versions have 2 less racers, meaning a normal 3-lap race. This makes the Wii version unique and much longer than the other versions, but this isn't the only reason that makes the Wii version unique. To get into more of that, we need to talk about boost in this game is essential to going fast, and it's important to know how it works in order to race tracks at a top level. In its simplest terms, the more obstacles you hit and tricks you do give you more boost. Unless you are on the Wii version, where another quirk about it is that before a race, the user can shake the Wii remote to fill up the boost meter completely, giving this version a very big advantage. Because no other version has motion controls, the only way to get boost in those is by hitting obstacles and doing stunts. Doing these will award you spectacle points, which will fill up a portion of the boost meter. The more you do this in succession, the more spectacle points you get, and once you get the 5th one, you earn a monster spectacle, which completely fills up the boost meter and its reserve, which adds 5 seconds that you are able to boost. Knowing when and where to get monster spectacles is the most important part of speedrunning this game, as you need to boost for practically the entire level if you want a top level time. But it's not always something to go out of the way and try to get every second you're on the course. This brings up the conversation of boost routes, which helps map out when boost is collected on the track. Let's take a look at this run on the race circuit course, San Fran Streets, to see what I'm talking about here. Right here, I plan to get a monster spectacle right before a long stretch of practically nothing to hit. There are a few things to hit down the tunnel, but I don't go out of my way to hit them. This is mainly for 2 reasons. One is obvious, I already have boost, and 2 needs a little more understanding of how the boost works. As you may have seen, the only way to fill up this reserve boost is with a monster spectacle, as spectacle points 1 through 4 only fill up the main bar. This means that if you have reserve boost, even if there's barely any, hitting obstacles or doing jumps does not add to this, unless you get a monster spectacle again. So it's better to leave obstacles for a later lap, just in case you don't have as much boost. Another thing to note is that boosting in the air is not known to be faster, so it's best to save it when going airborne until you get back on the ground. With all that said, let's get to the track in question. Shopping Precinct is the second Eliminator course in the game, and is much more involved than its former counterpart in Crush Hour. The first Eliminator is very short for being 5 laps, only about a minute in length. This means that boost is not much of an issue in racing the track. You'll have boost, just finish the 5 laps. Shopping Precinct is not like this at all, being well over twice the length of Crush Hour. It is very different from other long tracks in the game, as while there is a fair amount to hit, there's only one real spot to get in the air to do any stunts that way. Other long eliminators like Concrete Alley allow for multiple very large jumps, meaning spectacle points can be gotten through the air. Here, the only reliable way to get boost is through hitting obstacles. And while I would say these tracks have a similar amount of objects to hit, there is one distinction between not only these courses in particular, but with Shopping Precinct and every other course in the game. The difference between making this just another course and the most inconsistent track in the game. And that factor is the CPUs. See, what makes this the most inconsistent track in the game has to do with how the CPUs drive the track. On every other track in the game, the CPUs take a fairly normal route down the middle of the track with little variation. This makes boost routes very consistent and able to be practiced and memorized. That doesn't happen here, and multiple vital areas for boost on the track can instead be hit by the CPUs. Take for example, after the second turn, there are 2 rows of things to hit, which are hit on laps 4 and 5 for easy monster spectacles late in the race. But what can happen sometimes is the tree line or the rails are hit by the other trucks before you are able to, leading to you having no boost later on. And as we saw before, you go very, very slow when you don't have boost. On other tracks, boost routes take the CPU's routes into account, and you can hit things that you know they won't hit. That doesn't really work here, as the trucks for some reason seem to always take different routes and will hit objects that you may have anticipated hitting along your boost route. All these factors and more are why I think that Shopping Precinct is the most inconsistent track in all of Monster Jam Urban Assault. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to Quane and Kaizo for letting me use their clips in this video. Their links will be down below in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned a thing or two about a game I deeply love. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to subscribe. Thanks!